we'll pull you off, and then we'll pull you on shortly thereafter. All right?
All right.
Yes, sir. So, Minister, man, this is going to be an interesting conversation, man. The
Yes, sir.
Kango Kid just became an ancestor.
Yes.
Young Dolph reportedly became an ancestor.
Mm.
Um, so I say to them, um, we're going to deal with, some hip hop stuff. We're going to deal with empowerment, so I'm looking forward to this conversation, brother.
Oh, yeah. And in the hip hop thing, we have to look at two different dynamics of why are we losing artists. One, gun violence, and the other, health related issues.
Ooh. And so I know the code keepers are like, yo, Seiko, I know what the time is. It's time to get on code. All right. Welcome to Get on Code, the Fly Guy Show, which is a series of melanated conversations focused on empowerment, health, wealth, and knowledge of self.
People think in binary choices because they are conditioned to.
And on the wall was a picture of a wolf and a lion. I think the wolf was the Democratic Party, the lion was the Republicans.
But the drug trade and all these illegal stuff that people do, that's still economics. It's just that they couldn't do it in a traditional system.
We're talking about melanated wealth.
So we can build wealth, but we just, for some reason, don't seem to be able to transfer it.
You had a great experience. Fine. That means nothing.
What were you told as a child about education? You had to be how many times better?
Every impression without an expression becomes depression.
Word up. Welcome to Get on Code. Welcome to Get on Code. It's time to get on code, and our code is empowerment. So we ask everyone to get on code, share the code, teach the code, become the code, and the code is empowerment. Everything that you consume should empower you. Everything you do should empower you. So let's get empowered. And today with us, we have the good brother ConscienCeD, and ConscienCeD has an interesting podcast. You see it right there, right? Conscious or crazy. So good brother said, man, tell us a little bit about your podcast, bro.
Oh yeah. So this podcast, it started low. It started around election year, 2016, and then I just kept building upon it, and then it pretty much took off, and I just got inspired to keep doing it when I met Baba Dick Gregory. So and he kind of realizing it, not even realizing at the time, he inspired the title alone. Is he conscious or crazy? I'm saying Baba Dick Gregory was always yelling, but he was always dropping gems. Like, man, what's going on? Is he just saying things? What's going on? What is he saying? Like, so he always was on the line of conscious or crazy, with knowledge, or is he crazy? Science, breaking down, even hip hop, are you hip? You hip to the science, that's what we're going to be touching on. My latest episode, hip hop versus fake bonanza. Salute to the brother I did it with, Kenyan rapper. Yeah, he's pretty good.
All right, that's what's up. Fake bonanza. Before we go into our conversation, what is the fake bonanza?
Oh man, the media hiding the truth. Fake bonanza. Once again, salute the Mos Def. That inspired it along. That's one of my favorite albums from Mos Def. True Magic, definitely one of my favorite rappers. MCs. One of my favorite songs from him. The rape over, take over. Like Jay-Z took that, but yeah, the rape over. Running this rap. Who's really running this rap? What I'm saying? He exposed that, and I've been heavy on hip hop ever since. Rakim and etc. So and then hip hop, of course. Higher infinite power, healing our people. So if it ain't healing our people, or it's not hip hop. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. The first person I ever said a higher infinite power healing our people was KRS-One. So I want to give salutes to Knowledge Reigns Supreme over nearly everyone. Was he the first one to use that?
I believe so. To my knowledge.
Actually, it was Professor Griff.
Griff, yeah, him and Griff, yep.
Okay, drop the science, man. As we used to say, let knowledge be born, man. Go ahead.
Okay. In a lot of if you were to go back, let's say into the early 2000s, you would always hear Professor Griff use the acronym hip hop. I just forgot it, but he was the first one that I heard use that acronym. I know he came up to Temple University in Philadelphia where he introduced that, and then he would introduce it later in his podcast, Serious Minds and Others. And I think later on when KRS-One introduced his Temple of Hip Hop and it's what I call Holy Scripture, the Gospel of Hip Hop, you begin to hear that acronym as well. So for me, the first person I heard use the acronym was Professor Griff.
Yeah, Griff definitely dropping gems. He you know him, you know what happened with him and Nick Cannon. You know, Griff speaking the truth, and then you know the masses don't like the truth most of the time. But yeah,
I thought that was an interesting situation because Nick is learning, man. You know, and all of us, you know, depending upon which direction of enlightenment we come through, are going to pick up on certain bits of information. And so Professor Griff had his basis of information. Nick Cannon, as a newborn, as we used to call him, as a neophyte, had his information. And I don't believe that Nick had as much time with his information to vet it as Professor Griff has. So when you don't have the ability to support your thoughts, you know, he's going to backtrack a little bit. And I don't think it was necessarily him punking out. It was like, I can't support this.
Mm.
But Griff could support it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Griff could support it. So I think over time we're going to see. And, I might be totally getting it wrong, and you know, a lot of people saying I was caping for Nick Cannon. All right, whatever. I don't worry about that silliness, man.
Yeah.
I don't worry about that silliness. But that was an interesting situation. But if we're talking about fuckery, we're talking about some of the things that is not helping oppressed people. So, you know, the question comes to us: if you're really about his or her or higher infinite power, healing oppressed people, healing our people, helping our people. How does this stuff that we hear on the radio now, on the streams now, on YouTube now, on SoundCloud now, empower us? That's the question I want to kind of deal with. And we may not get to it right now.
Okay.
But that's where I want us to end, man. That's exactly where I want us to end. So I want to ask you, CED, man, why is hip hop so important to you?
Yeah, music alone. Because I think I might have chatted with you before. I'm a Coltrane guy. I like Miles Davis. You know, I'm hip to Miles Davis, Thelonious Monk. So music, period, is definitely it's important for the frequencies. You know, vibration is everything. So we got low vibrational music versus, you know, high vibrational music. It could change how a person function. And it's all about energy too. So if you're giving up negative energy, you're gonna get you're gonna get a negative impact on anyone. Someone walk in the room nasty, upset, you know, saying crazy things, that might influence you and you might get enraged yourself. You know what I'm saying? So it's all about energy and frequencies. That's what I've been focusing on. And I noticed in music, like a certain song I can't play, like DMX, you know, one of my favorite rappers. You know, I haven't, sadly, to be honest with you fellas, I haven't finished the DMX album. I know all the hits. I can't listen to DMX because the vibrations, the energy in his music, you know, it's like, oh man, I can't. Eminem, can't listen to Eminem. It's a lot of artists I can't listen to. Like Snoop Dogg, probably one album I listened to was this first one, you know, the classic, but that's it. And I shouldn't have been listening to that one. You know what I'm saying? There's some records on there that ain't it. But yeah.
Man, that's interesting. You saying that you cannot listen to some of their content.
Mm-hmm, definitely. Even of course, Young Dolph. I knew of him. I definitely didn't listen to his catalog at all. And he I think Crumb talked about it. You know, the other two Empire artists that passed away, you know, last year. in November. I did not listen to them as well because their music wasn't something I should listen to at all. Yeah. Yeah, DMX.
So I'm kind of going through a list of some of the MCs who passed away in 2021, and
I think someone
let's
passed away
see.
today too.
Yeah, Kango Kid.
It's crazy, man.
So I never heard of Baby CEO. Well, let me put it back. I never heard Baby CEO's content. All right. Of course, I grew up with Prince Marky D. You know, when he was a fat boy and when he left the Fat Boys. I listen to DMX, and I'm a DJ, man. So I
Oh,
listen
yeah.
to the hits. You
Exactly.
know, I play the hits, but I have to agree with you. There was some stuff that DMX said that I couldn't rock with. Black Rob, like, whoa.
Yeah.
But I never listened to all of Black Rob's music. This one hit me. This one hit me.
Definitely.
You know, when Biz Markie passed away, um, I remember going to a party that, you know, Biz Markie was spinning, man. And it was crazy because in the midst of the party, he started playing a theme for Sanford and Son.
Man,
And so I'm grooving, and then I started laughing, right? And then I realized I'm still dancing while I'm laughing. And I look around, and everybody else in the room, we were all dancing and laughing and having a good time, man. And then he followed up with like one or two other. He played Good Times, and we all sang along with it. Not Good Times by Chic, but I'm talking about the theme from the TV show Good Times. You know, keeping your head underwater, making a way if you can.
Temporarily.
Yeah, man. So, and then he followed that up with this is iconic. He followed it up with Public Enemy's song, yes, the rhythm, the rebel, without a pause, the lower in my level, yo. So it was just iconic. So I started respecting and listening to him as a DJ. So, you know, when Biz Markie passed, man, now I don't know who Gonzo was.
Me either.
Okay. Young Keefy, Young Keith. I heard some of the youngsters, you know, the young heads listening to Young Keith. All right. You know, Young Dolph, though. I liked Young Dolph's music.
Okay.
I liked his delivery, but I can't say that I listened to a whole project by him.
Yeah, same.
And, you know, there's a big conspiracy that Young Dolph may have faked his death.
Yeah, I heard about that with like even Nipsey, you know, like you never know these things, man. But yeah, Dolph, man, it's kind of crazy that once again 3 empire artists, you know, that own their masters, you know, all of a sudden, you know, they pass within a year of each other. 3 artists. It's kind of crazy.
Okay. You're saying 3 empire artists. So
okay, so
you know,
King Von,
let knowledge be born, man.
Yeah. So King Von, and then Mo 3. I think he was a native in Houston. So Mo 3 and King Von. I think he was from Chicago. But yeah, those are the other 2, and then of course Young Dolph. So they was all under Empire, and they own their masters. They was you know, they did have ownership of their music. So I definitely respect them, and definitely I respect them trying to get out of whatever situation, whatever neighborhood, you know, they're trying to find a brighter light. I respect that. With Dolph, I heard he had real estate in Memphis, and he was doing big things. And you know, it's ridiculous that you can't even come home to your own your neighborhood where you grew up at, and you can't even walk the streets or can't even get, you know, a snack. You know, he was getting like dessert, you know, so a cookie spot, and then you destroyed the business of the. So she gotta rebuild. You know, it's crazy, man. So yeah, it's ridiculous, man. It's something to think about. Like, do these artists, you know, fake their death? People still think Tupac might be alive still. You would never know. Maybe Jada know, but you know what I'm saying? But you never know.
All right, well, this kind of brings us back to the effery part, man.
Mm-hmm.
So is our content, our music, our hip hop, is that a proponent to some of the negative things that are happening in our community?
Definitely. I feel like some is definitely reflecting the environment, but some are pretty much empowering the negative environment. You know, I think the Spotting Got Him song, I forget, it was a hit last year, you know, Randy Moss, you know, if you listen to the lyrics, he's talking about murder. He's talking about violence the whole time. People just dancing to it. It kind of reminds you of that Andre 3000 lyric, you know, on Hey Y'all. It's like, y'all don't hear me. Y'all just want to dance. That's the problem. That's what's going on. People just want to dance. They don't want to listen to the lyrics. You know what I'm saying? That's a problem.
Yo, that Spot 'em Got 'em song, that song was so violent.
Exactly. Yep.
And at some point I was thinking, are they talking about video games where they shooting up folk? Or are they talking about street life where they shooting up folk?
Yeah.
Or are they talking about them both?
Yeah, talking about it all. And I heard he got shot in Florida or Miami. It's like he's okay, but like you're empowering this negative activity. It's like you got to move according to it. Like you know, it's ridiculous.
Is he okay?
Yeah,
and I'm not saying health wise.
Mentally, no, I don't believe so.
That dude looks spaced out, man. He just, you know, it just didn't seem like he was right.
No. Yeah, the lyrics alone, you know, knocked his dreads off, call him Randy Moss. Like the lyrics, like, no, like people ain't listen to it. Like they're gonna keep dancing. I hear the catchiness. Like, yeah, I see why you're dancing, but listen to what you're dancing to. Like you're celebrating this activity, like without knowing, like, yo, listen to the lyrics, turn the music off. Yeah. What's your thoughts on those records? That because I feel like Young Dolph had it in his music here and there, but it's a lot of artists that has that in there.
What do you think, Minister, man? Well, we should probably preface up. Minister never says what he thinks. He just drops facts. He drops research. So what is that? What has the research shown us, brother?
I feel like, you know, the old adage of history repeats itself. It's not true. We repeat history when we don't learn from the past. Okay. Mm-hmm. I always tell young cats, whatever mistakes you make new ones. Many of the young cats who followed us, now I'm 51, and as I read these reports of us losing our artists, and I just got to keep it a buck, we still haven't learned jack shit from losing Tupac and Biggie and Big L and Freaky Ty. Okay. For some reason, we keep having this Groundhog Day, and the Groundhog Day is becoming worse and worse and worse. Okay. I also look at this as kind of a cultural war, if you will. I'm going to rewind you back into the memo that was put out by J. Edgar Hoover to his agents in the field after the assassination of Chairman Fred Hampton, where he says that once we got Fred Hampton off the set, we need to make Black youth understand that if they choose to be revolutionaries, they will be dead revolutionaries. Later in the memo, he says, why can't these Black youth choose to be artists and athletes where American society will, they will be beloved by American society as opposed to being despised. So I kind of look at it in part as being socially engineered into certain things. And then when you get them into certain spots, now you begin to use their culture against them. Okay. And like I said, I've seen this happen, and I can take it as far back as bebop and how revolutionary bebop was, and how when the FBI was having surveillance on bebop artists. I'm talking Charlie Parker, I'm talking Thelonious Monk, I'm talking Dizzy Gillespie, where they felt that bebop in particular was introducing young people, particularly young white youth, to marijuana. And Brother Sekou, you may have remember when the DuPont family put out it was a documentary they put out called Reefer Madness. Okay. And the reason why they put it out was because they saw what cannabis and hemp would do to destroy their particular industry. So they had to criminalize hemp by coming with this thing called Reefer Madness. And this is one of the ways how music and basically culture has been used as a weapon to destroy certain things. So because those entities saw the golden era of hip hop, and they saw what it was able to do to get us to stop going to the club and have us going to Mr. Farrakhan lectures, Dr. Ben, Dr. Clark, Dr. Asante lectures. We need to change that narrative back into from being gorillas to gangsters. Okay. So I'm kind of giving you a little historical context to say this is nothing new. It's just the weapons have gotten more sophisticated and the consequences have become more fatal.
Definitely.
So are you saying like the elders who keep saying it's all about the music? These young folk just keep listening to the wrong music, and it's the reason that they're doing all this stuff is the music. You're saying that it's been contrived.
And see, those people don't help matters much because you can't, Peter Ty says you can't blame the youth of today. Okay. How can we blame these young people without having to look back at a Millie Jackson or Denise LaSalle who were putting out similar raunchy lyrics? Okay. So I don't get into critiquing young people because they didn't learn this in a vacuum. They had to get it from somewhere, somehow. And I think sometimes those of us in older generations, we have a nasty habit of being hypocritical and passing the buck and putting the weight on the youth. When the youth didn't know where they get it from, they just picked it up from like I said, they didn't get this in a vacuum. They picked it up from somewhere, from somebody. So I think we as older generations have to carry a lot of the weight for the condition that the youth are in today.
Definitely, yeah. It's it's picked up bad habits. It's all programming. Yeah, so that definitely reflects, like definitely growing up, I learned bad things to say because based off of older people I was around, like, oh, you don't say that, like, oh, but he said it. You know what I'm saying? It's all bad programming. Like we got to and then it's all about the environment. They say a village raised a child. I probably messed up the phrase, but it's very important surroundings of a person's development. It can hinder a person, and then they just reflect on where they come from. So they walk from where they come from.
And to add on what you had just said, the old adage of it takes a village to raise a child. Well, what do you do when you have a sick ass village?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Sick children, man.
Preach.
So if you got a sick ass village, you can't produce healthy fruit. Okay. So when do we start healing the village? You see?
Yeah.
So that's why I said we have to stop looking at things in isolated things and in vacuums, because that's not who we are as a people. We always look at things holistically, interconnectedly, and in its totality. And that's how we have to analyze the issue and how we have to solve the issue, because like I said, everything is interconnected. Everything.
Definitely.
So how do we stop the community from being toxic?
My thing, I've always said that revolution begins in a mirror. Everything begins with you. So what can you do on an everyday basis to conduct yourself and to live an upright, moral, righteous, and civilized life. Okay. And I think by starting with our individual selves and begin to demonstrate living in that manner, it will begin to, create a domino effect on others. Okay. Because everybody wants to start from the outside in, but it starts from the inside out. Okay. Because like I said, all revolutions begin in the mirror.
Yeah.
And I know that's overly simplistic, but Cat was playing the video game called Gangsta. Now that was in the mid 90s.
Yep.
So we have to begin, Frances Cress Welsing, she always talks about the 9 areas of people activity. And one of those areas is called entertainment. I changed the name. It's not entertainment, it's propaganda. Okay. And I took a propaganda course in college. And one of the things you learn about propaganda is that it's the first weapon used in warfare. In other words, you have to make your enemy killable before you kill him. Okay. So if there's a target or an enemy you want to neutralize, what do you do first before you attack him? You have to use your tools of media to dehumanize, demoralize, criminalize, vilify him in the eyes of the public. So that way, when you do go after him, there's no sympathy for him. You see? So we have to understand that there are, I think Sons of Man called it best, silent weapons for quiet wars. Okay, so not all wars are fought physically per se. They're fought on multiple levels. And those of you who operate in the metaphysical esoteric community understand what I'm talking about.
Definitely. Yeah.
For the uninitiated, what are you talking about?
Okay, there's a law. There's a law. It's called the law of correspondence, where it says, as above, so below. Okay, so the wars that you see fought in the physical realm are already being fought psychologically and spiritually. Okay, so I guess you would say there are tangible battles as well as intangible battles. If that makes sense.
Man. Yeah, that's deep, man. That's deep.
Okay. And like I said, having been a DJ in college and doing research, there is one book I want to drop on everybody. And the book is called The Harvard Report Censored. Okay. And the reason I want to drop that book on everybody is because it's a blueprint that was allegedly commissioned by a former record executive named Clive Davis.
Clive Davis.
Okay. Clive Davis is the one who introduced us to Whitney Houston, who later became the mentor for P. Diddy. And if you follow his history, he's had connections to organized crime. He's even been arrested for racketeering. Okay.
Like 6ix9ine.
Right. Now, Clive Davis's contemporaries include Jerry Heller,
right,
Mo Austin, and all of those executives who emerged during the mid to late 60s. They came right after Morris Levy, who we know had ties to the Genovese crime family. Okay. And it has been alleged that the Genovese crime family had ties to Bad Boy, allegedly. Okay. So what you have to understand is that music has always been a weapon that has been used against us, because I forgot where I read it, but it says that in a war, the first weapon that an oppressed people use to fight back is their culture. Okay? Check out China, check out Vietnam. And in fact, in the case of Vietnam, Ho Chi Minh, who shares the same birthday as Malcolm, when he was in New York, he used to go to UNIA lectures and listen to the Honorable Marcus Garvey and understood the importance of cultural nationalism, took that blueprint back to Vietnam and used that as a factor in defeating the Americans in the Vietnam War. Okay, so we have to really understand the importance of culture as a weapon and how it's weaponized to work against us, as well as how to use culture to work for us. Okay, because culture is just a tool. But what determines its success or failure, or whether it's good or bad, is the consciousness behind the hands that uses the tool.
Definitely, man. Definitely true. And people don't know that, Bad Boys is just it's under Sony. That's the parent company, and that's what Most Def was breaking down. We can produce all these records, but we don't even own it, so we really don't control the narrative necessarily. So they can it's a weapon, man. So yeah, completely.
And this is why I'm glad to when you see artists like Paris, who created his own lane with Gorilla Funk Records, artists like the Coup out of the Bay Area, and then most recently Immortal Technique, okay, who was able to maintain his independence. And I think he was able to move like 300,000 units independently to be able to, where he was able to buy farmland in his native Peru, be able to send his sister to college without her taking out a loan. So there are things you can do independently and still maintain the
Wait. I gotta salute that power move. Say that again. What did Paris do? I mean, it wasn't Paris, but
Immortal Technique.
It was the Immortal Technique. Yeah. What did he do?
He was able to buy farmland in his native Peru. Okay. In fact, there's a 1-hour documentary on him during his early days. Okay, he talked about being born in a military hospital in Peru, how his parents migrated to Harlem, and then his formative years being formed in Harlem during the 80s. Okay, it's a real interesting thing. The people who are in that documentary include Woody Harrelson, Ice-T, Cornel West, Chuck D, KRS-One, Russell Means, Native American activist from the American Indian movement. He has a very interesting saying. He says, if you want to be sovereign, act sovereign. Okay. And in the music game, I think we don't act sovereign enough. Okay. If we say we want to be bosses, quote unquote, you can't be a boss begging for an advance.
Exactly.
Okay. It doesn't work. All right. And we should learn that from, and I know I'm telling my age, but this whole independence move in hip hop, we can really trace back to NWA.
Definitely.
Okay. Because instead of NWA saying, please, Mr. Charlie, will you listen to my demo? You decide to create your own music, build your foundation from the ground up, use the Compton swap meets to a point where by your sophomore album, you were able to move 1 million units with no commercial radio airplay. That forever changed the game in hip hop. Now we're talking 1989 here.
Yeah.
I think we can go back a little deeper, man, because we're taking out, and many times when we talk about, the groups that really move things in any genre, we talk about the ones who were uber popular. But a lot of those moves were found in Uncle Jam's army. And Dr. Dre was connected. He wasn't a part of Uncle Jam's army, but he was connected with him.
Right, because he was a part of that history. In fact, I had the pleasure of speaking with Lonzo Williams, who is what I consider one of the architects of West Coast hip hop, who can give us that history, who basically was there when he got paid the finder's fee to hook Eazy-E with Jerry Heller. Okay. So that whole move of independence, and like you said, correctly with Uncle Jam's army. But then I guess we have to also go back before that. The first real move of independence would have to be Sam Cooke.
Oh, definitely. Sam Cooke, man.
Okay.
And the reason now to get into the whole political aspect of that, Sam Cooke created SAR Records. Sam Cooke was influenced by going to Malcolm X lectures when Malcolm X was talking about the importance of owning and controlling the means of your production and distribution. So Sam Cooke took that to heart, created SAR Records. Okay. Now, he paid a hell of a price for his sovereignty and his autonomy, but it set off a chain of events to where artists who came after Sam Cooke, your Ike Turner, your Chuck Berry, your James Brown, even moving into George Clinton, about owning and controlling. Oh, and Ray Charles, and controlling your catalog, your masters, and your publishing. Because everybody understood the importance of having autonomy and sovereignty, because at that time, the mob basically controlled the music game. The venues, the promotion, the booking, all that was mob control, directly and indirectly. And I mentioned Morris Levy. Morris Levy was basically the godfather of all that, because everybody knew he had the backing of the Genovese crime family.
Man.
Okay.
Man.
So it's kind of like, you know, as we come back into the modern era, I keep asking myself, what have we learned?
Exactly. Yeah, like, and you mentioned independently, like Master P is definitely someone that's seen that blueprint. You know, he was selling records out of his out of his trunk. He went to Harlem. He was he was selling them, man. He knew what he had, the vision. I definitely respect that. Yeah, man. I think we lost the vision, and we definitely lost the vision, man.
Yeah, and in P's case, P got his hustle game from the Bay Area, and was able to take that blueprint, bring it back to the Gulf Coast in New Orleans. And in fact, it was interesting you mentioned Master P. Some of you may not have his old book, Guaranteed Success. Okay. Now, in this book, he talks about how Jimmy Iovine tried to buy him off for $1 million.
Yep.
He doesn't mention Jimmy Iovine by name, but he mentions how he invited P and his brother up to New York and wanted to give him $1 million signing bonus.
Yep.
But P, taking the wisdom from his grandfather, who says, never make a decision from desperation. He looked into that contract. He didn't like what he saw, because he saw the autonomy and the sovereignty he would have to give up just for that chump change.
Yep.
Okay. And so he faxed the contract to his attorney. His attorney says it'll be the worst contract you would ever sign. And so he turned him down. Now, his brother was mad, but P says, look, if somebody's willing to give me $1 million now, what am I really worth?
Yeah, man. And I was just looking at an interview on Drink Champs, Big Sean saying pretty much he don't own his masters, and how Kanye West are good music, more good music than Kanye, but I ain't trying to. But he said he was owed $6 million. He had to audit. So he had to audit the label. He was owed $6 million and probably more. You know what I'm saying? And also this show I've been watching, Wu-Tang. Wu-Tang, they got a show, and RZA, because ODB, Jizza, and RZA are all related. So just off the strength of that, RZA, he made the decision for ODB. So, hey, you're going to go with Electrica, not Def Jam, because he wanted him to own his masters come 20 years. But ODB was big mad. He was upset. It's like, nah, like, yo, I made a great decision for you. He's like, nah, man, you could at least told me about it. It's like, he's seen the vision that ODB couldn't see. Like, owning the masters of your music is very important. I think Rihanna owns her masters. It's only a couple in the business that do. It's crazy.
Yeah. And really, you had to change the game because of what Wu-Tang did.
Yeah.
Okay. You couldn't pull off a Wu-Tang situation in this climate now. It would be impossible.
Yeah.
So, and really, I equate Wu-Tang. I always say that Wu-Tang is hip hop's version of George Clinton's P-Funk movement. And you look at the similarities, and really, to a large extent of what James Brown did, and you look at the people that came from James Brown's tree, then from George Clinton's tree, and then later from Wu-Tang's tree. You know, where you had Sons of Man, you had Kill Army, Grave Diggers, you had this Israeli boy, Remedy, you had the Moroccan boy, Silver Rings, you know, that sort of thing. And then RZA was able, and you know, one thing that Lonzo Williams told me, and he told me this out of his own mouth, he said the one thing that he had wished West Coast artists would have done that the East Coast artists were smart enough to do was to take their music and leverage it into other money-making opportunities. The one thing that the West Coast was always hanging their hat on was record sales.
Yep.
But they never took the time to flip that into other money-making opportunities. And he said that's the one thing that he gives the East Coast credit for, is to leverage their music prowess and then flip it into other vehicles.
Wu-Tang clothing line is crazy. Like, yeah, they made millions. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I talk about that in my book. I said, you look at the domino effect of Wu-Tang now. Now we're looking at Method Man possibly becoming a part of the Marvel Cinema Universe. You know, Raekwon just came out with his latest book. RZA's doing scores. So we begin to see the long-term impact of what these cats out of Staten Island did when they released 36 Chambers. I think it was 1993. So that's a huge, so we're talking 30 years of, you know, the ripple effect.
Yeah, they all had an apartment. They pretty much made a studio in the apartment. Like, all of them became construction workers. It was crazy. Like, seeing that, like seeing the vision, man. They had to get a phone line for the business because they made it an LLC. It was important to see that, man. Yeah.
Right.
Well, this brings us back to the question: how does this empower us, man? How can we be empowered by what the Wu-Tang Clan did, bro?
I think, you know, let's look at the model. Okay. Wu-Tang didn't, well, okay, let me put it this way. Wu-Tang knew that they had to dominate the music game first. Okay. That was what we call in business your core competency. Okay. Once you got your core competency down, now you can begin to branch out into other arenas. So once Wu-Tang was able to dominate the music game, then other opportunities were able to open up. So that's when RZA and Method Man were able to move or branch into Hollywood. What's that documentary? The Show. Okay. Then you saw Method Man team up with Redman, you know, after Method Man signed to Def Jam.
Yep.
Okay. Then you see Method Man and Redman in movies. How High 2.
Yep.
Then you begin to see RZA as a New York Times best-selling author, first with the Wu-Tang Manual and then the Tao of Wu. I read both of those. Great books. Okay. Then came doing the musical score for Kill Bill. Then came RZA in American Gangster.
Hey, bro, let me stop you for just a moment. Speaking of gangster, I want to bring one of the most gangsterist in the popular positive manner. Brothers, I know the good Chakra Doctor is going to join us on Get On Code. How you doing, Doc, man?
Yeah, spiritual gangster. The gangster ain't never leave, it just went spiritual, that's all.
Man.
The tactics, all of the street moves I used to do, it never left. I just do it for positive now. Nigga, you play with nigga who play. You play with my family, your mama still could get killed. You play with my family, you still could be found in the river. But it's just gonna be, I'm gonna write it on a pen and a paper. I'm gonna write it on a pen and a paper, and I ain't gonna have to, do it physically now. I know how to get the universe to do things for me now. You know what I mean? So, that's the next level of Black people got to remember who we are as a heritage and as a people. We got to we got to call on that higher power to, to handle business for us, because, sometimes things can get a little too big, in the neighborhood. You might fight you 9 years old, you might fight the 9-year-olds or the 8-year-olds or 10-year-olds, but when the 13 or the 12 and, the 11 and, the big boys come, you got to go get your big brother. Man, hold on, I got somebody for you, and go get my big brother. You feel me? I got somebody, I better go get my big sister or whatever, right? So, that's what we Black folk got to do. We gotta call on the big homies in the heavens. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, ancestors.
Yeah, man. That's what Nas said. Hood rats don't abortion your womb. We need more warriors soon, sent from the stars, sun, and the moon. So that was real facts right there. You know what I'm saying? Even though my disposition on, because we talking about a musical genre that I love. It's a love. I got a love-hate relationship with hip hop, man. I hate hip hop and I love hip hop at the same damn time.
It's like a Gemini.
Yeah. Because on the one hand, look at all the millionaires and entrepreneurs is creating, and look at all of the people, look at all of the world we're influencing, like Black people, Black people in America, American Black folk influence the world. You got Chinese people rapping like us, Asian people rapping like us, the whole world, moving like us, right? And so that's the great thing to show the influence that we have, that world influence. We just got an impact on the world that's just like no other. It's godlike, if you will. It is definitely godlike. This is why they call us God and peace God. Because that's what you are, you know what I mean? But this society has gotten us and reverted us back to, a dog. Remember, because God spelled backwards is dog. And so this doggish state that we're in, where we're courting bitches, this doggish state that we're in, where, we'll be satisfied with the scraps off the table. This doggish state that we're in, where, we sniffing and licking asses trying to see and get some passes. That's the part that's disgusting, because it didn't start off that way. But I do have to say, scientifically, it was bound to end up this way, because truthfully, hip hop was a movement born from poverty. It wasn't a movement born from wealth and abundance. It wasn't a movement born from a state of tranquility and peace and, utmost respect and honor and justice and truth and balance, reciprocity and order. Nah, it was a cry out saying, "Hey, broken glass everywhere. You walk around this bitch, you're gonna get your foot
just cut. Don't care." Yeah, man.
You see, it was I call it, well, we got to go all the way back to our first pain music, which was the jazz and the blues, and those are really, all of the American music was born off pain, born off struggle, born off poverty. So it was only right that we was going to get to this level. You know what I mean? What are we rapping about? One of your major rappers, his name Rod Wave, and his genre, they say he's good at rapping pain music. Pain music. So that shows number one, these Black men that's rapping, they hurting. Ooh, they hurting.
Yeah, definitely.
Hey, and let's take a quick moment, man. I gotta do this because I gotta do this. We gotta do a disclaimer every now and then. Disclaimer time. All right, so if we use the term African American, we're saying American citizen of some level, not necessarily of African or Indigenous descent. When we use the term Black, we're not talking about skin color, hair texture, origin from a city, state, country, nation, or a planet called Black. We're not talking about a crayon color. We're not stupid. We're not talking using the term to address somebody's legal status or nationality. If we use the term Black, we might be referring to a person of some level of African and or Indigenous or Aboriginal descent. All right.
Lift that up.
We got to do that from time to time, and I
Yeah.
can see that this is going to be one of the times that we got to do it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So, good brother, carry on. My Native American brother, Chakra Doctor, our Black
Yeah, man.
Indian brother, Chakra Doctor. You know, we got the
Oh, that-
melanated in the house, man. Go ahead, let's drop it.
Choctaw Chippewa to be exact. Choctaw Chippewa to be exact. You understand me? So, you know, it's nice to know the truth, man. You know what I mean? But when it comes to this love-hate relationship, I was just listening to one of them. I was just listening to Roddy Ricch yesterday, you know, and I was like, damn, I love this shit, but I hate this shit. Because you hear, you hear where they're coming from. They let you know, I'm taking these drugs, I'm hurting. I'm degrading my women, I'm hurting. I'm degrading myself, I'm hurting. I'm killing my brother, I'm hurting. And then and even though you're making money and getting paid to hurt, you're getting money, you're getting paid to hurt. That's crazy. You're getting paid to hurt your people. So and that
goes along with that.
The reward don't measure out to the risk, because the musicians are the prophets and the poets of the society. You know what I mean? Man. And our whole life is music. Our whole life, we grew up learning our ABCs and 1, 2, 3s through music. So we know, man, that the reason why these young black males who are taking over the world, who have taken over the world with the word nigga, turned a derogatory word and turned it into $1 million. How can we not turn nothing to make something from nothing? This is God's status. We took all of the derogatory words, we took all the derogatory foods, we turned that into a soul food. Look how we even make the bad and turn that shit into something good now.
Definitely.
Right? So
pigs feed all
bad
that,
things
man.
we were given, we were given the shit instinct of the war. After you lose a war, you're not gonna be the one walking around in luxury. When the reason why they call them the colonizer, that's just a friendly term. Call it what it is. When the robber, the thief, the stealer, the raper, the murderer, the abuser, the trickster, the devil came on your land guard, your motherfucking ass lost the war. That's it, man. And if you want to win the war, you pan. And I was once guilty of this, being an aspiring rapper when I was coming up, and all of those people you were naming, I grew up off them people. I was 82. I'm an 82 baby. I'm an 82 baby. All them dudes right there y'all was naming, Wu-Tang and all, man, I grew up on all those dudes. So I'm disappointed in my motherfucking idols. I'm disappointed in the Wu-Tang. Wu-Tang ain't built nothing for us, man. Fuck your clothes and you ain't got nothing for me, man. You ain't got nothing for me, but I paid and went bought your album, man. Fuck Jay-Z, nigga. What you built for black people? You ain't built nothing for me. And this is where I'm at as a black person, man. As a black person, I'm for my people, man. Look at the state my people in. For y'all to be still walking around here with millions of dollars on your neck, houses on your wrists, and our people still living in shit, piss, but coming to see you at your concert, and you ain't stepping out saying, hey, look what I got for you for showing me this love. Look what I got for you for giving me this support. Look what I got for you for giving me this swag. Look what I got for you for giving me this, my identity, black. And you ain't, and where's the pay it forward from the hip hop community? Where's the pay it forward from I give to this charity? Man, fuck that charity and that charity. Build something for us and show us through the proof and the pudding. You won't kill your brother. You won't degrade your sister. You won't do everything up under the sun. You won't talk about God Body 360. Well, show me the God Body 360 companies there. God Body knowledge born ass niggas. Show me. Because I'm from the show me state, nigga. Missouri, nigga. What the fuck? I'm from New Orleans, but nigga, right now I'm from Missouri. Show me. Because that's the only thing that's going to make me believe you. If you ain't walking in this motherfucking shit and like you talking, I don't want to hear you, RZA. What have you built for us? Method Man, what have you built for us?
MOD, AOD.
What have you built for when we was going crazy, busting niggas over heads over the bottles, busting niggas in the head with bottles over your songs? Killer Bees? Nigga, where is our nursing home? Where the black nursing homes at? Where the rappers pension fund them, all the rappers? Why these dudes had to die broke? Where's the rappers union?
They still don't got a union. They
still don't got no union. You niggas is hoes, man. You niggas is motherfucking house niggas, and it been like that. So this is how I feel. You can't get rich off us and don't pay it forward for us. This is how I feel. You can't. I feel like this. I just feel real passionate because we're giving these people our lives. Our children are dying at a rapid rate. Our women are dying at a rapid rate. And we're talking about these people as if they're righteous.
Exactly.
What the fuck world I'm living in?
Programming.
What world I'm living in?
Exactly.
But this goes back to what I was talking about earlier with what J. Edgar Hoover said in the COINTELPRO papers. After the assassination of Fred Hampton, you were socially engineered disproportionately into thinking that the only way you can get any form of respect or power in this society is being a gladiator or a court jester. What did Biggie say? In order for me to get out of poverty, I got to spit a hot 16 or have a wicked jump shot.
Yep.
Okay. So we have to look at the social engineering, because think about it. Why is it that we're the only race that has to look at our gladiators
what I hear
and
right
court
now?
jesters
Look
for leadership?
what I hear from you coming right now, brother. This is what I hear coming from you right now. I'm from the streets, right? I'm from the streets. If I'm in the streets, I used to sell heroin. I used to sell coke. I used to sell dope. I used to sell pills. I used to sell whatever I could get my hands on. I done seen six figures in the streets. You feel me? I done lost 6 figures, 5 figures. I done did all this in the streets. In New Orleans at that, where niggas get killed at a higher rate than other cities. Okay? And what I'm hearing right now, me and my brother was talking about this because me and my brother went to jail together, got our education, came out. He beat recidivism, I beat recidivism. And we were talking about this
Hey,
thing.
hold
This
on.
theory.
We got to clap for that, man, because most brothers don't beat recidivism.
Right.
I got to salute you on that, bro.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you said we're gonna talk about that. What I did to beat recidivism. You know what I mean?
It's coming up. It's coming up.
And we have this thing. We have this theory called the weak links. The weak links. That the weak links are the ones that survived the colonizing. Remember, the strong links went to war and died. The weak links are the ones who said, "Hands up, don't shoot."
Ooh.
And they bowed down and they went Allahu Akbar and they hit their head on the motherfucking ground. Because last time I checked, that wasn't the motherfucking the religion of the motherland. Stop hitting me with that shit, man. That wasn't the religion of the motherland, my nigga. So how we came over here on the boats bumping our head? No, we lost freedom over there, and we came over here on the boats bumping our head. You see? So I look at things from a way broader perspective. So I'm from the streets, right? And if somebody comes and robs me and steals all my guns and steals all my dope and steals all my coke and steals all my, my product in the streets, two things about to happen. I'm about to retire out the streets because that was just, I'm not ready for, I'm not ready to retaliate from something like that. Or I'm going to make sure that I set an example so that everybody ever try to do me that again, they're going to think twice, 3, 4, 5, 9, 10 times before they even try to make a move like that. And what I'm hearing with my, with my elders and what I'm hearing with my current elders, all y'all doing is talking about how y'all lost a war that was fought bravely and valiantly by white folks and lost by us. Whether we was brought over here, whether we were brought over here, or whether we were already over here, or both, and we lost. Period. This is why we call the lost tribe of Israel. Nigga, we lost the war, and nigga, we lost. Okay? So let's call this spade a spade, and let's recoup our losses. But we can't recoup our losses sitting around talking about all the things we did to fuck up and get us to the loss. You see? I'm talking about, man, listen, let's talk about moving forward, right? And the moving forward, the first thing we got to do is we got to acknowledge that, yeah, these young brothers making millions and billions and whatever trillions of dollars, because Kanye West is a billionaire, right? Jay-Z is a billionaire, right? Dr. Dre is a billionaire, right? LeBron James and all these people that we give our souls to. sell our souls to these people. I hear go to barbershop after barbershop, argument after argument about these people.
Oh yeah, LeBron and
You
Gold.
know these people from a can of piss or paint.
Don't know these people.
Don't know these people from a can of piss or paint.
I don't know J. Cole.
Don't know what they do. And so and so for us to be in this state glorifying those who haven't proved themselves to be worthy of our glory. Okay, this is our ultimate weapon. I don't blame the celebrity. I blame the motherfucker who is enamored by the celebrity that thinks that shit is cool. Okay, because in the end, when it's all said and done, you have a choice out here in these people's streets. You have a choice. I had a choice. I could have said, man, I'm not about to go in these people's streets and tote no guns, man. I had a choice. I made my choice and said, man, F that. I'm going in there. I'm going in there like swimwear. Y'all gonna respect me, right? I could have fell back and probably went and did something else in life. But you know what? I convinced myself, man, I gotta do this. And this is the state that we're in that I hate seeing. That's the part I say I love it and I hate it. Look at all of this wealth that we're building, but we're not building no wealth. You spending $1 million with a person who is not of your race on a chain, on a diamond chain, or you spend, and you can go Google how these rappers are getting ripped off by the jewelers now.
Exactly.
The rappers are getting ripped off by the
baby got ripped off. Yeah.
Man, look at the little baby got ripped off. The baby got ripped off. And look what they're naming their name. Babies.
Babies.
They're not. Listen. They're either Lil or they're young or they're babies. See. Soldier Boy. I see a boy. See, and though none of them represent manhood. Okay.
Exactly.
Though none of them represent manhood, all of them represent this boy, this immature, young, irresponsible boyhood.
And they looked up to Lil Wayne.
Little. Keyword little.
Little, exactly.
Little Wayne. Okay. Not Big Wayne, No, they look up to, So I tell people, man, and I heard you was talking about Master P, you know what I mean? And people don't know, man, that when you look at who these gatekeepers who really running the game, you know what I'm saying? Master P and Birdman, that's a big old gate, my nigga. That's a big old gate right there. They got Drake and Nicki and Tiger that came through that gate, and that's how Tiger got hooked up with the Kardashians. Come on, man, y'all gotta understand how this system move and how this system go. So who are they really serving? You see who they serving. All of them, Kanye West told you. And when they get on, he leave your ass for a white girl. Now get here, then get down. So you see what that flavor is. They go along. Remember what his name is? Kwame Brown said they call him the go along and get along gang. Y'all will go along with some shit just so you can, just so you can get you out of the deal. Forget the morality, forget the ethics.
Exactly.
Which is, we learned this in business school, ethics. They got ethics in cold-blooded, university courses. They got people who are doctors of ethics and stuff like that. Ethics is a real big thing. So we've, even though we're capitalistic, man, we are completely robbed of ethics. And hip hop is a business, and these young men don't know the business. Remember, they removed that artist and repertoire, that artist development. They removed artist development. Remember, you was able to go and bring an artist and develop them for 1, 2, 3 years before they even drop a real album, right? They done took that out of it. They done took the love out of R&B music. You can't hear no R&B music about no love. You can't hear no R&B music.
Yo,
love.
Man,
you took the social commentary. You robbed us. You took the social commentary out of the hip hop music. At least when we was listening to the gangster rappers of old or the hip hop rappers of old, they had a social commentary with that negative message that counterbalanced it and said, "Look, you could go right here or you could go right here." You feel me? 911 is a joke. Get up, get down. They had an opposite. They had an opposite view. Now look what happened though. When 911 was a joke, and when it was fight the powers that be. Go remember, look how black people was acting. The music had a subconsciously program. Remember, when the fight the powers that be and 911 is a joke, soon as they hit up Rodney King, they turned into a riot. They said, oh no, we can't have another one of them. We got to change this music. We can't have another, we can't have another Rodney King riot. They almost took us under. Why? Because they was fighting the powers that be, and they knew 911 was a joke. You see, but that was a social. Even though that was a negative message, it had a social commentary in it. So when the people ran down up on Rodney, it was like, hell no, we won't go. We about to get into that business. Right? And they still caught up with you later, Rodney. See how that go? They still caught up with you later, Rodney. God damn.
Still caught up with him later.
God damn, Rodney. What you was doing? What you was really doing, Rodney, to attract that type of shit? You see? Because I'm a big fan of the law of attraction, man. And I think hip-hop is the reason why black people have inherited so much damage in our community today.
Definitely.
The gangs, especially that drill music, that I don't even call that hip-hop.
Exactly. The drill music.
That shit ain't, I run in the house with I run in the house and hit your mama. That shit ain't no fucking music, man.
Yeah.
Okay? All right, real music, real music moves the soul to inspiration. Real music, gives you motivation. Real music touches your soul and makes you feel good, right? Today's music is just filled with these emo rappers rapping about how some girl broke their heart. Man, nigga, get you something nuts about yourself and get you some fucking go drink you some vodka and get some fucking hair on your chest. Let nigga crying about what she did. These niggas is crying. These niggas done reversed the role. You feel me? Go look at what old boy just had to do. Kevin Hart just was sitting on laps. Come on now. Kevin Hart sitting on laps trying to get the bread. Look at them. They all got Kevin, that was just yesterday, the day before yesterday? Kevin, the white boy carrying Kevin Hart like a little child, sat him on his lap like Santa for Christmas, and he acted like a little child in the white man's lap. Oh, see? And this is the shit. Like, y'all support that? Y'all gonna go watch his next movie, huh? I bet y'all gonna go watch his next movie, huh? When it come out, y'all gonna all watch Kevin. Man, fuck Kevin Hart. I don't watch no name. I stopped watching Kevin Hart movies a long time ago.
Yeah.
I stopped watching Kevin a long time ago. Why? Because I know one thing for certain, two things for sure. You ain't helping us. You almost a billion. You about to be the first comedian billionaire, and still ain't did nothing for it.
Yeah, most of these rappers, they turn actors, even Common left us for acting, even Common left us, like in DMX.
Hold on, what Denzel done did for a nigga, man? Come on, besides come talk to a nigga college. Come talk to a nigga college, give an acceptance speech, or pay for somebody tuition, or at some fucking white boy college. Because even the black colleges are owned by white folk. Come on, stop playing them games like black folk own them damn colleges.
Yeah, exactly.
Black folk don't own them damn colleges. Stop that shit. Stop calling that shit historically black. Nigga, that shit ain't never been no historically black. And fucking white folk been funding them universities now. So stop playing them games. White folk,
it's like the record label. It's like the record label.
Well, I gotta shout out, man. I gotta shout out Hampton University.
They bad boy records.
I gotta shout out Hampton University.
Hampton got an answer to that nigga that live in the Hamptons. See how that go?
That's oh man,
that's why they call that bitch Hampton. The people in the Hamptons own that shit. Man. They probably been living off of Hampton University.
Well, the first people in the Hamptons were us. The first people in the Hamptons were us. We got kicked out the Hamptons.
We got ran out.
We got ran out the Hamptons.
The hamburger ran us out of the Hamptons.
Still, I got to salute Hampton University. All right, and all my HBCUs. Salute. But I mean, you do bring up a good point, and it comes down to this: how does this empower us?
Man, knowledge is power. Man, knowledge applied is powered on times 10, right? Knowing, that's the beginning of saying, okay, I know better. You can't fool me no more. But applying what I know, that's saying, okay, let's have a race and competition. I think I know better than you. You see how they go? And so that's what we got to get at when it comes to black folk. Like, black folk got to get reinterested in nerd shit again.
Know the ledge.
We gotta get reinterested in. In matters of intellect and matters of social and matters of social engineering and in matters of real gaining political footholds and matters of really gaining a root in a financial structure within this financial structure that can battle it. You feel me? And the only way you can do that is by start getting black folk healthy, because we sick. We sick. You feel me? So a lot of us want to do great things, but we sick. And that's the part where I got into the field of, you know, health and wellness, because I feel like you can accomplish anything you want if you live to be 100 like Rockefeller did.
Mm.
Prince Philip just died at 99. I'm pretty sure he lived out his wildest dreams. 99 years. That's vampire numbers, man. The people putting up centuries on us. We can't make it past the half century mark.
Definitely true.
And they're living into these ripe old ages, because that's the second age of your life where you make the majority of the wise decisions. Your 1 through 50 is the majority of your fucked up decisions. The 51 through 100, you're gonna make way more wiser decisions than 1 through 50. See? So that's you got 2 phases of your life. So they're robbing us of our second phase of life through tricking us, through practicing poisonous things and toxic things in our first phase of life.
Exactly.
Okay? And so
Who's
that's
that?
why.
Who is that? Who is that?
They, first and foremost, you gotta look at the paper trail. When you see who they is, we gotta go to politics. Okay, the top members of politics, the top members of media, the top members of the educational system.
Yep.
Okay, the top members, Vivendi and Viacom and all these
Vendi,
names that got no faces. These big ass companies ain't got no faces, or the faces is just this CEO paid puppet, because the real hidden hands are really, really, you know, really going in. The top people in these military branches and in these fucking intelligence and community branches. Okay, all right. The top people in these hospital branches, right? Even and it trickles down. They got people all on all levels. Now it's infiltrated on all levels. Don't get it twisted. The devil is on all levels. The devil was able to walk all the way in heaven and holler at God and say, "What's happening with that nigga Joe?" Okay, so we know the devil go to and fro, heaven and hell, earth and to and fro. So we know the devil on all levels, just like God on levels, challenging us. I feel like this is just a great challenge for Black people that's going to go down in our history of how we failed and how we overcame. And when you look at the top people in banking, and the top people in the religious communities, and the top people in the stock industry, and the top people, especially with, you know, that whole black market. Oh my goodness, don't even talk about the black market and the stock industry. This black market and the stock market is what fused the 8-head hydra of what we call the beast in America: politics, media, education, business, military, medicine, banking, religion. Okay, and when you look at these eight heads that really govern our life, you're saying, where's the money come to fund this evil? And now you got to look at, okay, the stock market and the black market. Okay, the black market, that's the source. That's the pool of dark money. That's the pool. That's why they call it the dark web. That's the pool of the dark energy. All that organ harvesting, all of them drug selling, all of the illegal guns, illegal gambling, illegal motherfucking diamonds, illegal everything, illegal. You name it. There's something illegal on the black market. This funnels the monies into the stock market. So the black market, if this was a car, if the powers that be were a car, okay, then the black market would be the engine and the transmission and the motor, the shit that makes the car room, right? All right, but now the car still needs to get, you know, to and fro, and the stock market would be, you know, the pedal, the brake, the gauge, the speedometer, the radio, and the front and the dash, the window. All right. And the rest would be the parts of the car, the doors, the wheels, and everything else. But the two things that fuse this car of evil, because when you look at all of these industries, they're all, number one, appear to be owned by white folk. Appear to be owned by white folk. And number two, these industries are all $1 trillion industries, and they're all riddled with massive amounts of evil. And so that lets you, and then when you analyze who is it a shame to offend in society, now you know who's running that plate. Remember, they tell you whoever is afraid, at that time, the power of the society, you never speak against the power of a particular society. For instance, when the king was in, you never talk bad about that particular king or this, that, and third. So who do people get canceled for talking about? Who do people get fired for standing up to? Who are the bullies of society? And you'll see who's running this evil car. And when you see who run into evil car, it's the same old story of Sodom and Gomorrah. And I'm a big old fan of, number one, standing up to that lesser magic, lesser arcana, that weaker shit that the great grand holy mother can completely trample and run over, number one. And number two, making sure that my young black men and my young black women still today see the truth behind that veil, because these are the people who created Planned Parenthood and got you aborted in your womb. These are the people who own in Monsanto and got you trying to modify all your meat and modify all your food. Okay, remember, these are the people who remember that black doctor already discovered it and exposed them. They're putting atrazine in our food, putting estrogen in our male boys' hormones, right, and turning them more effeminate. This is why these men are being born more smaller, more skinnier. Look at all of these rappers. Go look at all of the rappers. All of them are skinny, little frail, short, little boys.
Eating too much food too.
the one that was so called the tall ones, they're not in the spotlight. The tall, big, 6 feet men, they're not in the spotlight unless you're in sports or something, right? And when you look at that, look at these little boys who they are glorifying as the creme de la creme for black manhood, you'll see, okay, what is fueling that? Well, let's see. Y'all talk about their clothes and pants sagging off their ass, but who creating their clothes? Who creating their clothes? Let's talk about it.
Oh yeah, Louis Vuitton. Who else?
That's the gay mafia. Come on, let's talk about it, man.
Exactly.
Let's talk about the gay
Gucci,
mafia.
Prada.
Just because they gay don't mean it ain't mafia. Just because they gay don't mean it ain't mafia. Okay. Just because they homosexual don't mean they ain't catching bodies. Man, I was in jail. I know niggas catching bodies, having sex with other men. What are you talking about? What are you talking about, man? They wasn't respected more than the men in jail, but they still had a bit of respect more than the nigga that was taking the cock. Okay, the people who took cock had to sit down and pee on the toilet like they were female. This is how you know it's a feminine trait. And the LGBTQIA, all of them are the GTBQIA. They're imitating the L. Okay, because all of them are imitating women. And I don't have a problem with saying this because I never needed them to build my brand, and I never needed them to get my money, and I never needed them for anything in my whole entire life of living. So therefore, I can analyze this truth from a perspective of non-biased judgment. Like, wait a minute, look who's ordering, look who's making your kids' clothes, look who's creating your kids' food, look who's owning your kids' cartoons. These are all people accused of sexual abuse of women, pedophilia. They got all kind of scandals within their organizations, all kind of scandals within their personal lives. Man, all of your top leaders, show me one top leader right now that's leading America right now who doesn't have some complete mud just all in their shit. It's everywhere. Yeah. Infestation. And they're using hip hop as the vehicle, as the Pied Piper to lure everybody in to the poison. Okay? And the name of the game, I don't know if you ever played Dirty Hearts, but the card game Dirty Hearts, you can take somebody with you when you the funky fuckery. See? I like that because I remember funk music ain't never used to be really that much of a fuckery. When you look at, but look at it, think about it. Funk is not a positive word, brother. I would consider funk. Listen, you ready for this shit? Think about it. Pain. Nobody who likes pain. Nobody, but we call it pain music. Some shit that we don't like. This is the law of attraction, right? Definitely. Who likes funk? Nobody really likes a funky person sitting next to them, but we still call this stuff funky music, right? Play that funky music, white boy. See, they was trying to show you who was funky, and you just adopted the fucking funk. See, look what he said. He said, play that funky music, white boy. They were trying to show you who the funk was coming from. But we wasn't listening to the prophecy and the music. We was just bobbing our head and shucking and jiving, doing our chicken and doing our motherfucking dances. Because guess what? The elders had what? Had dances just like these youngsters got dances right now. The funky chicken, y'all remember the, spill of wine, dig that girl, y'all already know, right? So let's analyze what was going on, and you'll see they've just taken it now and taken it to the next level of propaganda and marketing to hurt and poison our people at a high level. When these rappers are endorsing poisonous drinks to you, right?
Exactly.
Come eat my poisonous food at my poisonous restaurant. Come drink my poisonous alcohol at this poisonous liquor store.
Ciroc.
Come spend your money. Come spend your hard-earned money at my poisonous concert that can get
Hennessy.
your kid killed. Come and invest into my evil, right? And this is the problem I have with it. I can see if even the gangsters back in the day, right? They had drugs flooding the hood, but they had community center and stuff for the good people. So hey, y'all get y'all ass back. Get off the block. The children couldn't just hang around the drug dealers back in the day. Get your ass inside before something bad happened to you. Go inside by your mama, right? We had some authority going on,
right.
But we don't even got none of this. We're investing into all of these young black bought kids. They are bought. They've been bought out of poverty, right? And this is why they tell you don't make deals with a poor man. Why? Because they make moves out of desperation. Okay. It's not their fault. They're trying to eat. They're trying to live. Okay. And
they say desperate times call for desperate measures. Exactly.
And don't never fuck with a desperate man. See? Don't fuck with no desperate man. He desperate, man. He stay away from desperation, and stay next to the people who bring aspiration. See, because association brings on assimilation. So you gotta watch out who you associating with.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? So I don't hang around like desperate people who are so entranced and caught into this physical world that it brings them into an emotional breakdown or brings them into negative words out of their mouth or can drive them to do some messed up stuff or say some messed up stuff to you because their so-called part of their life is not in line with how they want it, or they can't handle certain emotions when somebody telling the truth, or they can't handle certain, we have no our emotional IQ is way down here. And I heard somebody talking the other day, like I was supposed to respect their feelings because they felt some way. And that's farthest from the truth. I said, I care not about your feelings, because feelings can come from a place of falsehood. You know how many people done hated on Seiko Varner without even knowing him, and then they met him and were like, man, that dude a cool dude. Exactly. Right? And so feelings could come from a place of falsehood. So I don't trust feelings, I trust actions. Actions are gonna show me how you really feel. You see what I'm saying? Because that's why it speaks louder than words, because 85% of all language is nonverbal. So let's look at the nonverbal cues.
Body language.
Let's look at the nonverbal cues that these rappers are sending us. Oh, matter of fact, let me share this too. Look at the cues that these rappers are sending us. They're sending us, we don't care about you. We don't care about your children. We don't care about none of your we don't care about nothing you're going through, right? So
no, that's the basis of the effery, man. That's the basis. Because whenever we deal with people who don't care, they destroy things. If I give somebody a brand new car, if I get somebody a brand new car and they don't wash the car, they don't change the oil, they don't rotate the tires, in about 3 years, that car is going to be a piece of trash.
But think
they
about
gave them something brand new, but it was because they didn't care for it.
But
and
think about it.
What
if they don't know how to rotate the tires? What if they don't know how to wash your car? What if a lot of youngsters, right? 15, 16, 17 years old, no, they literally don't know. They don't have no skill. They're being raised by women. Men are the people who instill discipline. 82% of us have been robbed out of our homes. 82% of us are missing out the home. How are you gonna teach them? How are they gonna change a tire when they don't even know how to change one? How are they gonna take care of a car when they don't know the meaning of even having one?
So you're saying since we haven't taught them to care, they don't care.
Remember, Martin Luther King told us, he marched us into a burning house.
He said
we inherited the fuckery. He said he marched us into a burning house. He marched our black dollars out of Black Wall Street and into their community. What are you talking about?
No.
So now,
what will empower us then?
And you talk about COINTELPRO. When COINTELPRO infiltrated, they took you out of this. They took you out of. Remember, the gangs didn't start off the killer machines that they are now.
Exactly.
Gangs started off as protection machines for the community. Black men protecting our community.
Right.
Okay.
That's right.
Boom.
Community revolution in progress.
Right. And our financial state, our economic state led us to desperation. And we, just like Richard Pryor did in the movie, we let the white man buy us. Okay? And when that happened, we were able to walk into a trap just like any raccoon or any deer or any other animal that walks into a trap. Okay, that's why they call it the trap, and they call it trap music. They literally call it trap music.
Pain music.
Rap music is literally trap music. It traps the consciousness and traps the mind, our children's mind, into believing that you could acquire those things that you see those people have, committing the acts that you hear them rap in their songs, and that's far from the truth. Okay, and now our black men are robbed out of the home, right? And you see what it has done. You have women raising our men. And they're turned effeminate. This is just common sense. You can't have 82. You can't have 75%, 80% of these young men being raised by women and expect them to know how to change tires. Women don't change no damn tires, bro. Women don't know how to operate. No, man. Show me, man. There's rare few women mechanics you can go see right now. They're gonna take your camshaft, lift it, and click clack and put that motherfucker. Nah, man. Women ain't doing it. The one that could do that, she's probably on NASCAR somewhere, doing some NASCAR type shit.
All right, so
that's rare. You know
what we do?
Yeah, what we do, right? And so,
what do we do? What do we do? What do we do?
Man.
Oh, so first and foremost, the first thing we do is we reach out and we outreach, right? That's the simple. That's the first. That's called. I read a book called How to Budget. I mean, how to market on a shoestring budget. And the first way you market on a shoestring budget, because we black people, we operate on a shoestring budget, even though we making $2 trillion out of this economy, it's squandered and wasted on not in places that don't belong to our community, so we don't see it come back and stimulate our community. All right, so we got to operate on a shoestring budget. Where the first way you operate on a shoestring budget is outreach. Where is our, and that's nothing. It's nothing. It costs nothing to pick up phones and start reaching out and telling people, this is what's popping. Who's willing to open their arm? This is how at my FCA got started. I just landed and just started walking around saying, hey, people, I do this thing. Do you want to try it? Do you want to see what's up with it? Do you want to hear what I have to say? Do you want to go some more? Look, well, how can I do more? You can do more by doing this, this, and this, and giving you a roadmap to how to help us reach out, right? So we can reach out to the schools. I go look on my website, man. I told you I was just at, not just at, but I've done schools, right, in San Bernardino and in New Orleans and things of that nature, right? We can reach out to the prisons. That's nothing. That don't cost nothing. It costs nothing to reach out to the prisons. Stimulate their mind while they're in jail so they can come home changed when they get out. Because rehabilitation starts while you're in. Really, if you're not rehabilitating yourself while you're in there behind the wall, you are wasting your time in prison. Period. And the cultivation, and you tell that to the people in school. If you're not, man, if you're wasting your time being friends and having all of these friends, you're wasting your time in school. You might as well just drop out and go get you some friends. Exactly. If you want friends, and you're going to school for friends.
Get friends on
buckle
Facebook.
Down the hatches, stay humble, and keep going. That's number one, man. So you visit the youth, and you visit the people in jail, and number three, you visit the elders. Who said the elders still ain't got no juice left in them? Who said the elders still ain't got no connections, right? And well, what are you proposing that we do? Man, I told you, y'all already got Chakra Doctor. I've been healing people. Throw me in the water with the ocean with the sharks, and I'm gonna eat them up like a whale. Then you ain't got to worry about all the rest. All you need to do is just point, and click like the keyboard on the mouse. Boom, click, and click on, and I'm going now. So this is what I be reaching out telling people. If y'all really care about black people, I'm healing them already.
What do we do about our music?
I'm already giving them vaccine exemptions, right? I'm already giving them, healing modalities to heal their body, healing them modalities to heal their mind. Outside of that magic stuff, you ain't never got to buy no magic stuff. You still benefit from Chakra Doctor, right? So,
all right. What do we do about our music, bro? What do we do about our music? Yeah.
Oh, so you can't do nothing about the music until you start doing something about the mind state of the people who are buying into the music.
Definitely.
The mindset of the people who create the music. You can't do nothing about the music. This is what's programming society. People are gonna want to listen to something. It's not the music per se. It is your lack of compassion when it comes to building the people who are listening to your music.
Mm.
Our musicians used to build us. You can go listen to songs right now. Brother,
Marvin Gaye.
Right, too many of us now. We got to find a way to show some. You see, like you used to have a commentary that showed that our musicians cared about us.
Yeah.
Right? Our musicians don't care about us anymore, and so that's why we're not seeing, you know, an advancement in our consciousness and the social psyche, because our musicians don't care about us anymore. It's not about, hey, man, you know how many white boys rapping about shit they ain't never did in rock and roll music right now, and they making millions of dollars off this shit. It's never been about rapping or moving your fantasy and spitting what's in your fantasy or spitting something in a song. It's about the characters who are giving us these songs. They're not equating to characters who are able to lead us when it's time to lead. They're gonna fold, they're gonna bend, they're gonna break. When they get their millions, they're not gonna reinvest in us.
Exactly.
When they get there, so it's not about the music, it's about the characters who we are allowing to peddle music to us. So you know, I never said blame the oppressor. No, blame the oppressed for allowing the oppressor to oppress them, because last time I checked, we all have a choice: win or go home. See?
Exactly.
And so this is where outreach begins, where you start planting these seeds right now, so that in 2024, 2025, 2026, that speech that they heard in 2021 and 2022 is taking to a nice root and effect, because they done went through some things. You got to start sparking the change, and by being the change first. So why not? I came from all of the backgrounds that these people they came from. I come from at one time, all of them in one conglomerate, right? Whether your people died, whether you was in jail, whether you didn't had a battle fighting an incurable disease, whether you've been laid off or having come out of poverty, whether you've been suicidal and depressed and attempted suicidal and depression, whether you've been trying to get a business off the ground and you just don't know what you're gonna do with when the first 1 to 3 years when your business is just rocky and you just don't know what to do with your business, right? Everything, right? And when you add that, say, man, well, let's do something, brothers. We could all go to a prison. We could all go to, man, let's get together and go to a school. Because these are the people, remember, they locked them up because these are the ones with the greatest potentials. Okay? The reason why they're in prison, because they were the ones that say, man, fuck the government, fuck the law, fuck what the white boy is saying, and I'm going to do what the fuck I want. How the fuck he going to make trillions of dollars off his pharmaceutical industry? But the minute I try to feed my family by selling some fucking dope, he want to throw me in jail for life. See, that ain't a fair playing field, white boy. Last time I checked, it's called justice, order, reciprocity. Okay? And so if you want to start maintaining some true justice, we got to start reaching to the people. Our children are the ones who are about to be the future. We got to reach out to them. Our elders are the ones who are going to guide them through the wisdom. So we got to reach out to them. We got to bridge these gaps. And the only way we do it is by outreach. That's the first stage of marketing. Outreach. Let's talk about what we can do. All right? What you can do. This is what we're doing. And this is what we're bringing to the table. And this is how we're going to bring it to the table. What do you have to add on at the feast of the Last Supper? You feel me? Or the First Supper, whatever you want to call it. You know what I mean? And every little bit counts, man. I don't care if they volunteer an hour a week doing something. Start creating stuff for people to do. Our children don't got nothing to do. So start creating things for them to do. You know what I mean? We start creating things for inmates to do. Like, wait a minute, I could give them some exercises. Now, what are you talking about? I got programs for days. Programs, our bodies are machines, our brains are computers. That's all I am. I'm a walking fucking AI, nigga. What are you talking about? Let's get it. Let's sit me around some geniuses and let's go do our thing. And I got the magic. I got the sorcery. That white boy ain't touching me. That white boy ain't touching you. That white boy ain't messing with nothing. Love got the love touching, putting his hands on, because love turned everything into gold. Okay? So
that's the hashtag love gang.
Love gang. That love turned everything into gold, man. And this is how Haiti was able to beat the colonizer, because they loved themselves more than they loved the nigga that was the motherfucker who was about to enslave them. See? They loved themselves more. And when you love yourself, you will love your neighbor as you love yourself. But first, you gotta show love, how to love. Remember, what black people, now remember, this was supposed to be the black church. They fell off this task. The only thing they worry about is money every Sunday. The black church is supposed to be outreaching to all of these places.
Exactly.
They not doing it. This is $1 billion, $1 trillion industry.
And some churches are owned by the government.
And the government on the church and the government on the prison. See how you see how it go?
Full cycle, man.
It's a full cycle. So you gotta, you know what you gotta do? You gotta outreach, and you gotta start doing that old classic, old-fashioned word of mouth, hand to hand, person to person campaigning like the presidents and the senators do when they're trying to go gain some key states. When a president trying to gain some key states, he's hitting the ground. You don't see black people hitting the ground to the people who really gonna be voting for them. See, remember, we talk about that stuff, but hip hop, the people who listen to hip hop are the people that we scared to go around, the hoods, the destitute, you know, the people who poor and things of that nature. And so once you get over the fear of poverty, I came from poverty, I beat it already. You can't bring me back in, and I'm about to come out and reach out. And you reach out to those churches. Hey man, start sparking some stimulus back in these churches. These churches might want to get involved in some program. You just reach out, man. And that's the greatest thing you could ever do, man. That's the first step, because then things start taking lives of their own, because he reaching out doing this, and now it becomes a positive competition. He doing that good thing. Well, I'm about to do this good thing over here. Okay, and monkey see, monkey do. I'm sad to say, monkey see, monkey fucking do. And you start an outreach program. Why somebody else gonna start reaching out to the prisons too, and why somebody else gonna start reaching out? And you start these individual outreach programs, but you just do it. You start it with yourself and the people you can outreach with, and you do that. So if it's you and your brother, or it's you by yourself, it could be you by yourself. Outreach. How do I outreach? First and foremost, have a plan. Don't go outreaching to nobody if you ain't got no plan. People already got enough shit on their plate to be wasting time dealing with your no plan having ass. Okay, that's number one. That's number one. Okay, and come with a plan, and make sure all of your ankles are covered with that plan.
Yeah.
And make sure that you're willing. And make sure that you're willing to put your highest blood, sweat, and tears dedication into that plan, and make sure you show the people who you're outreaching to that you are 100% sold on this plan. And and show us step by step. Don't leave no question unanswered. If there's a question you feel like they can be answered about, ask about your outreach or your presentation, figure it out, research, and answer it, man. The one thing that always got black people to buy into me and got other people to buy into me is that when they started giving me 20 questions, I was able to answer 21. See? Okay? Yeah. And every time they ask what's the numbers on this? What's the numbers on this? I got the numbers correct. I got the data correct. And I can spit it out the top of my brain like I got to read no paper. I'm in the trenches with this. And this is what black people got to see. Black people got to see the outreach, that love again. Outreach it, you know what I mean? And each one teach one, reach one. This is what they say. Okay? And so we got to start reaching each other again. And that's what's going to start sparking ideas, right? Because remember, great minds discuss ideas, average minds discuss events, and small minds discuss people. Right now, we're on the level of small-minded stuff, discussing about who got what money, who got what car, who died at what corner, who went to the funeral, who didn't come to the repast, who went to the concert, and who went to school, who got dropped out. See, we're just talking about people.
Gossiping, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we're just gossiping. And remember, the Bible says nothing comes to a gossiper but a headache. Okay, so we gotta remember what's going on. Remember, and we've popularized gossip. The world stars of the world, and all of these things of the world. And so this is why I know for a fact, side note, that shit was hoax, because we live in a world that's based in too much gossip, and the real would have come out by now. It would have leaked. There would have been a leak.
So your point is, if we improve our experience, if we improve our environment, our music will reflect that.
Of course. Well,
most definitely said it.
I always say, once you start changing your vibration, your music is going to accommodate that change. Even though I have a hip hop playlist, Google, I didn't even know YouTube Music do this. I got the YouTube Music app. They sent me a email They said they showed me how many hours, you know,
Yep.
broken down in analytics of music I was listening to and what genre of music I was listening to.
Yep.
And I have this one playlist called my programming list, and it has my Grabavoid numbers and my hertz frequencies on it. And I spent 83,000 minutes listening to that, and all my other music was below 10,000 minutes.
Man.
Right? So, because I listen to it in my sleep, I wake up, listen to it. I just have it. This is my elevator music. I love numbers, right? And so, and I blame that on the fact that I've changed my mentality, right? I'm looking for millions and billions and trillions of dollars. Why wouldn't I listen to numbers in my sleep?
Yeah.
Come visit me, please. Think about it. You are what you are. You are what you eat, but you also are what
you are what you listen to. You are
what you remember. Your six senses. You are what you eat. That's your taste, right? Remember your smell. People keep forgetting about your sense of smell. You are what you smell. This is why it's not good to have nasty and funky shit around you, right? Because your smell it produces a mind state. This is why you see in most. This is why you see in most projects and in most lower income housing. Guess what you got? You got sewerage plants around the lower income housing developments. You got these waste stations around the lower income housing. Because guess what? When they wake up in the morning, they're gonna smell funky smells, right? Especially in New Orleans. Oh my God. So when you look at our site. When you walk out of a project building, do you see nature? Do you see flowers? Do you see trees? Do you see birds? Do you see bees? These things that resonate with your Arcadian algorithms? No, you do not. Okay. But even then, Black people, why aren't you planting a garden in your fucking project? Why aren't you taking care of? Remember, cleanliness is next to godliness. We could all clean our neighborhood, but we got to start doing outreach. I always tell people, outreach. When other people start coming cleaning your neighborhood, that's gonna make you start coming cleaning your neighborhood. We can even. I always tell people, we can even, and even bigger outreach. Start making these gangs clean the neighborhood. We can pool our money, get our money, and start paying these gang members to keep their neighborhoods clean. We can start paying these man, and believe it or not, they'll do it. They looking for work, my nigga. We can pool our money together and put these gangbangers to work. They're still young men. They're just misguided young men. You know what I'm saying? And how you gonna put in work? You got to get their leaders. Their leaders are the one who they follow. You see? Yeah. So you want outreach to these gang leaders, man. You know what I'm saying? Let's do a crip walk and clean a block day, whatever you want. You know what I mean? And let's do something that says that we care about our neighborhoods and we care about ourselves. You can just put something together. It's easy to throw. Everybody's waiting to do something in today's COVID society. Everybody wants something positive to keep them upbeat because they're wearing the masks. You got all of these things going on with that propaganda, the news scaring them every day about this this big old monster, and so start putting some good things together, man. You can start having some some great positive car washes, man. You know what I'm saying? Getting the girls, getting the girls to do the bathing suit car washes, to donate money to certain recreational centers, to donate money to certain things. If y'all gonna be sliding down a pole making money, why not use some of that sexuality to provide for your fucking people? See, this is what I'm saying. I'm not hating on y'all sliding down the pole, but own the damn strip club, my nigga.
Own the strip club. Own the.
I'm not hating on you drinking alcohol, but own the distillery.
Yep.
That's it.
Hey, yo. We were talking about funky effery, hip hop, Mindstate.
It's not where you from, it's where you at.
Yo. So
not where you from, is where you at.
Yo, so Conscious, man, your last thoughts, man, because we can build on this forever, but the good thing is we're gonna build on this again. Because Chakra, we coming back and we're gonna talk about life after prison, how somebody can be okay, we're gonna talk about that. Zumbi he's got a new book coming out. So Conscious, man, last thoughts, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's not where you're from, it's where you at, even the good old ghetto, you know what I'm saying, Rakim, but also, my son will be my resurrection. We need to we need to do better. You know what I'm saying? And it's, you know, it's all what you put in, you know, vibrations. If I'm listening to DMX 90% of the time, and I'm looking for like positivity, I might be yelling and sounding like a dog every day.
think about that, bro. He literally, bro, think about it. He literally made millions of dollars sounding like an animal, like a dog, man.
And he got like 20 dogs. Like, yeah, it's like it's all I was programming alone. Like
programming a long time ago, man.
Yeah. So we just got to program right. We got to reprogram and be able to, you know, be willing to change. Like if we're not going to evolve, like, and then, you know, how it goes.
For instance, you ready? Outreach. This is outreach. We could pool money together, right? Pool some money together. Get Dr. Zumbi books, right?
I thought you would say Dr. Umar.
No. Not the cheese and nigga. Not the cheese and nigga.
Yo, salute to Dr. Umar, but go ahead. Go ahead.
Y'all crazy, man. Y'all so up. All right, so you know, you get, let's say, you know, we can get, you know, we can put our money together and get, you know, 50 or 100 books, right? And do outreach, and when you go to the prisons, and hey man, you know, y'all won't read these books. Prisoners are dying to read some books, right? You can get, and we could go to places where we can outreach and start ministering these concepts in these books, because a lot of times you want a person to read a book, but they don't have the vocabulary level to even understand the words you're saying, to the definitions of the words you're saying in the book. Like, how can you explain Black Revolution when nigga don't even know what the word revolution means? You see what I'm saying? Right. We got to go back to the ground level and start communicating to our dumbed down society, because we've been dumbed down and dumbed away from things that we used to just commonly know, right? And that's why I say outreach, because you can give a person a book, but if they don't even understand half the words in the book, you know, they was just reading just to be seeing them in anyway. Like to say, oh yeah, I got that new such and such book. Yeah, it's lit. You know, how many people do that? Get that new book, read a couple pages, and now they got a trophy. Yeah, I got such and such book. And,
I read 2 pages today.
Yeah, I read 2 pages. Right. You know what I mean? And so, you know, and you know, that's great.
Minister Zumbi, man. Last words.
Zumbi. Last words. Okay. Everybody can be a $20 revolutionary.
Thank you.
Okay. So we got, you know, Brother Siku, we got the Chakra Doctor, and I said this the last time we talked about cultural tithing. I said, if we can get a cadre of individuals, let's say we give $20 a week to the Chakra Doctor and purchase his products or give to his ministry. Do you realize just that one act, how much money we can shift back into Black hands to a race first organization that is looking out for the interests of our people? I mean, original people, regardless of your school of thought.
Right. And that's the thing. That's the thing. No matter, just as long as you look like this right here, that's it. No matter what your race, color, creed, religion, your sexual preference, and all that, man, do you identify with this right here?
Oh, and I got to plug my elders book.
There you go. I want to do a whole live on. I'm about to do a live. So listen, I'm glad you showed that.
Okay.
Because I'm about to buy. Man, send me the link to that, because I want to buy that book ASAP.
Okay.
And man, and let's talk behind the scenes, man. About let's start a GoFundMe, man. I could put 300, 500, 800, whatever, and you know, everybody match. Let's put it up, and let's put our brains together and start doing some type of outreach. We can all do something, you know what I mean?
Okay.
But I definitely about to buy that book, and I'm definitely about to start doing actual lives on that book.
Okay, and the reason is because we're talking about agendas. The agenda we're talking about that's happening in hip hop. This elder, Baba Olatunji, he breaks down scientifically the organizations and the individuals involved in pushing this particular agenda. So this is his African-centered response to these organizations and their agendas. And this is a conversation that nobody wants to have, but everybody must have.
Send me the link to that book, please.
Yes,
I need it like yesterday.
Yes, sir.
Ooh, I can't wait to come back. I can't wait to be sitting up here like brothers, like Dr. Zumbi, y'all better go get the book.
Yes, sir.
Ooh. Somebody had about time somebody gave me some ammo. I got some ammo. I can go shooting now. That's what I needed. I needed that black and white. Give me that black and white. Show me what the clowns doing. Them crazy clowns doing over there behind that.
Yes, sir. So did the elder call you yet, Brother Siku?
Not yet. But I've been on staycation for a few days, so I got a couple of calls I need to return.
Okay, so he's got your number. So we talked about it earlier this week. So he should be getting in touch with you.
All right. And my last words, man, deal with pay. Mm-hmm. We got to invest in this, man. And some of our ancestors, they paid for us to have certain rights. So what you're looking at is a poll tax receipt. Mm-hmm. This particular ancestor on my wife's side.
What is a poll tax receipt?
This receipt showed that they paid a poll tax. They paid to be able to vote. And I'm not saying that, we should all vote. I'm not saying we should all not vote. Mm-hmm. I'm saying we should all invest in things that are going to improve our lot in life. And so, outreach. We got to invest in outreach.
You better vote on the lower level. On the lower
Absolutely.
level.
That's what.
Remember, that's where you win this big. That's where you win this big, massive this outreach program. That's where that's who's gonna holler at you. The mayors and the low levels. You know what I'm saying? In this outreach, man. You know what I mean? Because that's where the vote counts at, right? In your average local everyday center or county or town, man.
So we've been talking about the effery, the fuckery in hip hop. We talked about how it empowers us. We talked about culture as a weapon. We talked about how this pain music is really impacting us. And I like one of the things you said, Chakra, bro. You said, I'm going to rephrase what you said, but you've heard the term hurt people hurt people. Mm-hmm. And so our hurt people are expressing their hurt, and this hurt music, this pain music, is continually hurting us.
Reflection. Yeah,
so that's thought. We talked about who is they. We talked about the car of evil. We talked about how too many of us shucking and jiving. We talked about how we're investing in evil. But this is the deal. We got to talk about the things and do the things that Conscience just talked about, that Chakra Doctor just talked about, that Minister Zumbi just talked about, and just because the black church ain't doing it right now doesn't mean they can't change. So, hey, our code is empowerment. We tell you to get on code, share the code, teach the code, become the code, and keep in mind our code.
And I need that book, man. Don't forget to send me the link to that book. I need that book.
Empowerment.
Yes, sir.
All right.